Response to intervention, or RTI, is a systematic approach to screening all students, providing instruction interventions, frequent monitoring of student progress, and using data to improve instructional decision-making. Response to intervention can be used to ensure that all students are receiving the instruction they need, and is designed to provide early, effective help for students who are having difficulty learning and to prevent academic failure.
RTI is one of the best and strongest and most important educational practices that has come our way. It helps us to identify how kids are doing in education. It helps us to know whether or not they're learning and if they're learning on track to achieve academic benchmarks and academic standards.
RTI comes out of the work of Standino 20 years ago, where they decided that what if we could work with children before they fail, before they have problems, and then provide instruction that is fit for that child, and then monitor the progress on that instruction. If the instruction is working, then we keep doing it. If it's not working, then we change that instruction.
RTI is a multi-tiered approach to addressing the needs of all students. During core instruction, or Tier 1, students receive high-quality research-based instruction that addresses the 5 essential components of reading instruction, including phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. In Tier 2, students who are not meeting standards receive daily small group explicit instructions matched to their instructional needs. Students not responding to these targeted interventions receive more intensive small group instruction in Tier 3.
Tier 1 is core instruction. It's good instruction that all students need and should have available to them. But for those students that are not at benchmark or not at grade level or not meeting standards, we need some more intensive interventions. And that's where Tier 2 and Tier 3 of RTI come in. And what we do is more small group instruction for those students. We use evidence-based reading instructional strategies. We monitor student progress on a frequent basis to see if students are growing or not growing, and we meet on a regular basis to talk about those students.
The major components of RTI are universal screening, core instruction Tier 1, targeted interventions Tiers 2 and 3, progress monitoring, data meetings, and fidelity checks. These essential elements are joined together by a common set of achievement indicators used for decision-making. Curriculum-based measurement procedures provide the student data necessary for RTI implementation.
A good metaphor is something like a thermometer with which we take body temperature. I imagine that if teachers had something like a thermometer, they could easily, frequently, repeatedly measure students' performance in basic skills and use that information as a basis for making judgments about their success. Thanks to the good work of a lot of different people, we developed a set of measures that teachers could use to evaluate growth in reading, writing, and eventually arithmetic.
We adopted those measures in the early 1980s and used those curriculum-based measures to measure student growth in reading and in other academic areas.
According to national assessment standards, it is important that achievement indicators are empirically validated.
The data has to be accurate, the data has to be reliable or consistent, and it has to be valid. Okay, you can begin whenever you are ready. Go ahead.
The best student.
The CBM measures, which are documented to be valid and reliable, have also been shown, through research, to predict reading proficiency on state accountability tests.
One thing we know through formative assessment or progress monitoring is that students will show greater academic gains when we use a formative assessment approach. So as we're assessing the child while we intervene and then using the assessment results, the formative assessment results, to tweak or to change our interventions to better address the child's needs, we see greater gains in the long run.